Well, today's video, guys, I want to do something just a little bit different and take the time to kind of give you guys just an inside look at my personal life. There's some challenges I've been facing recently, as well as some positives as well. But just kind of give you more, I guess, of a raw look, just of my current situation here in life. As I know on social media, I usually share just a lot of positive things, which are a lot of positive things to share about. But today I wanted to take a different kind of look at that and share more of my personal story, as well as kind of share, just that I'm human and I go through hard times and seasons of life as well. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm actually relocated here to Washington State at the beginning of the summertime after living 7 years in Mexico, serving as a missionary, as well as running a paddleboard business down there. And since my time transitioning back here this summertime, it has been a challenge in a lot of ways. After being gone for so many years and coming back into my home culture here, there's been so many positive things, but also there's a lot of just mental things for me to kind of work through as well, of just coming back to my life here in the States with my family. So kind of rewinding back from that, which I'll talk more about that here in a little bit, but going backwards towards kind of the beginning of my paddleboard journey, I started paddleboarding in 2018 when I was living in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, and started off just like many of you, having no clue what I was doing and just kind of figuring out what this whole sport was about. But at the time, I didn't really know it was a sport at all. Just kind of thought it was a hobby you do on the water. But I got into my paddleboarding journey in 2018, and then soon after that, I absolutely fell in love with the sport and quickly became a certified instructor, learning more techniques and just things you can do on the water, both safety-wise as well as technique and performance-wise. This led me to doing my first race there as well, and that race was one of the most challenging things I've ever done on a paddleboard for the first time, anyways, in that stage of my life. And after that race, I was exhausted, and I had no desire to ever do any kind of paddleboard competitions again after that. But if you follow me on social media at all, you have obviously seen that I've done many races since that time, and my love for that side of sport has grown so much. And I'll talk more about why I love that also in this video, kind of share kind of my reasons behind setting goals and reaching for those goals also. But before I dive into that, once again, I know I'm kind of saving some teasers there for you guys, but going back to the beginning of this channel, I started this YouTube channel here in 2022. And just like many things, when you try something new, I had no idea how this channel was going to grow or what it was going to turn out to be. But at that season of my life, I was already a certified instructor at this point, and I learned quite a bit about paddleboarding and techniques and tips. But I feel like when I first started paddleboarding, there just wasn't a whole lot of like quality sub-education available to myself and many other people around the world, especially even online. And so I wanted to create a platform through videos to share more of my things that I've learned through my training as an instructor, as well as through other coaches, and just kind of share all the information that's been given to me back out into the world for you all as well, to help you guys in your sub journey and your learning experience on the paddleboard as well. So that led me to uploading my first video in 2022, and I uploaded a few videos talking about some reviews, some technique stuff. And then I launched one video called, let me make sure I get the name of it right here. It's been a while since I shot it. But the 5 mistakes every beginner paddleboarder makes. That video is kind of the first one I took off. And what many of you probably found my channel through was maybe through this video even. And so that channel or that video kind of helped my channel take off. And since that time, many of you guys have come along on this journey with me, which I'm super appreciative for. And as I continue to grow this channel, as you know, that I'm very passionate about learning things about paddleboarding and sharing techniques and tips and pieces of advice to help other people, even like myself, to grow in our abilities on the water, as well as having a safer experience on the water also. But with all that being said, a lot has happened since 2022 in my life. And since that time too, I've been really pushing pretty hard in content creation. Especially that first year and a half, I was pushing out quite a few videos, which I love doing, and which many of you probably don't know, I'm just a one-man team. So when I go out to shoot these videos, I'm doing all the filming myself, all the scripting myself. Then I'm coming back and taking all that footage off of my computer or putting onto my computer, and then doing all the editing and all the post-production, and just from point A or from the beginning of the stuff, beginning of the video to the end of the video, it's just only me. And so I love every part of the process, but it's also very time demanding. and very mentally demanding as well. And after doing that now for like 2.5 years, I've finally come to a point in my life right now where I just need to slow down just a little bit and take a little bit of a break, because as much as I love doing this, I don't want to lose the passion for creating this content for you guys either. And since there's been a lot of major changes in my life, especially this year, that has kind of really just brought that to a head. I probably say in the past month, where I was just feeling burnt out, and I just like could tell I was needing a break in a lot of things, but especially on the content creation side of things as well as the paddleboarding side of things. And this was hard because, as you know, through my channel, I do a lot of goals, and I set a lot of goals for myself to help me achieve things. I feel like goals are a really good thing to set in your life, for anything in your life, and for me, especially for paddleboarding also. So it gives me kind of a benchmark to work towards, and allows me to kind of backtrack from that goal or that benchmark to progressively work towards it as well to improve. And one of those major goals I've had for probably the past year and a half is trying to paddle 10K underneath 1 hour. Now, the first time I tried this was on my inflatable race board there in Mexico, and I got it in 1 hour and 14 minutes. So that was the first time I ever tried to paddle 10K as fast as I could, and obviously I was 14 minutes off of the 1 hour mark. And so that kind of showed me there was a lot of room for improvement and a lot of work I had to do to get closer to that 1 hour mark as well. So with that though, it allowed me to kind of really hone in and focus on my training, learning from other coaches, tweaking my training as well, both on the water and off the water, to see how I can improve myself as a better athlete, as well as just conditioning my body to be a healthier version of myself as well, in order to hit this 10K underneath 1 hour. And I think one of the reasons why I'm so drawn to the 10K distance as well is because when you spend like an hour on the water, that's a lot of time for you to kind of work through a lot of stuff. You have to work through a lot of mental stuff as well, because there's a lot of times within the hour mark when you're pushing at a higher threshold level like that, where you just have to mentally be tough. You learn to push through barriers and through walls to continue pushing forward to complete that entire 10K in the hour. And that's very challenging mentally. If you guys have ever done a longer paddleboard race, you guys know like those mental walls are tough to work through. And so I love the 10K distance because it gives me that time to kind of work through maybe not one barrier, but maybe 2 or 3 barriers during that entire hour mark to keep pushing forward and become mentally strong or mentally tougher in my life as well. And so that's why one of the reasons why I love 10K, as well as just a distance. I love just a longer distance like that, where I can just really physically push my body hard for a long time. And so that's kind of why I love 10K also. Real quick before I continue on with my story today, I do want to give a huge thank you and shout out to Waterspeed for sponsoring today's video. I personally started using Waterspeed at the beginning of the summertime, and since that time, I've absolutely loved using it. It's a great way to keep track of all your paddleboarding sessions on the water. You can use just your smartphone or even your smartwatch, whether it's an Apple Watch or Garmin watch, to track your sessions. Then afterwards, it's a great app to dive into to see all of your stats and see how you perform during your paddleboard training session. I personally love and enjoy just how simple and easy this app is to use, as well as being able to access all my paddleboarding workouts in one location. There are also still many new fun features on the horizon for this app, such as paddleboard challenges. So if you guys are looking for a great app to use to keep track of paddleboard sessions or joining on challenges in the future, I encourage you guys to check out the app link down below. Anyways, with all that being said, I really felt like this year was a year for me to hit 10K in at least 1 hour. Beginning of this year, or in the summertime anyways, my training was going pretty well at first. I was doing some pretty intense workouts, but I was hitting my marks on those workouts, and I feel like I was progressing pretty well. And I really thought this year would be the year I hit 10K underneath 1 hour. I did paddle 10K at the beginning of summertime, and I think my time was 1 hour and 4 minutes. And so much better, like tons of progress was made, obviously, since the first one I did in Mexico. Granted, I was on an inflatable race board the first time, and now I am on a carbon fiber race board. So that does help me have better glide in the water and better performance. But only 4 minutes away, I thought for sure, this would be the year I would hit that mark. And unfortunately, like this was about the time frame I was planning to do my next 10K time trial, or my personal race in this month of September, or actually towards the end of September. But unfortunately, yeah, life got tough in a lot of ways. I think just transitioning back here to States, as I said earlier in this video, I went through a lot mentally, going through just a certain rhythm of life in Mexico and coming back here to the States and diving into just a different rhythm of life again was way more challenging, and we call it like reverse culture shock in more ways than I could have understood. And it's kind of hard to explain all the emotions I went through and I'm still going through. Yeah, just a lot of challenging stuff of just processing the hard seasons my life, my family and I went through while living in Mexico as well. From just challenges of living a different culture and learning a language and learning the rhythms of that culture, to personal side of stuff where we had a miscarriage for our first kid there in Mexico, and then that was really hard to go through away from family members while being in Mexico. But to the high joys as well, where we had two daughters who were born to us later during our time in Mexico as well, and how they now have dual citizenship, both Mexican and American as well. And so that's super cool that they have that. And they've been thriving since we've been back in the States, so that's been a blessing as well. But anyways, all that to say is that I started some new work this September as well as a bus driver, actually. And so even though I love doing content creation and I love doing all the stuff for you guys online, it doesn't pay very much. And unfortunately, here in Washington State, it is a very high cost of living area. And so unfortunately, I just can't physically provide for my family as of right now for what I do online in terms of my content creation and coaching and things like that. And so I've done some bus driving in the past. For the time being, I jumped back into it once again. So with that job, I get up very early in the mornings, as early as 4:30 in the morning. So some of you who may do that, you probably relate with me in my life as well. And when I dove into that work schedule here a few weeks ago, I just felt completely drained. Obviously, my body was trying to get used to that new schedule and figuring how to just function working at different hours of the day. And at the same time when this happened, I was at a very low moment as well, just mentally working through some stuff coming back here to the States. And I just lost my desire to kind of keep training and pushing forward in my training for my 10K, losing my desire to just kind of mentally put forth effort to create more content, and just was kind of hitting a wall in a lot of areas. And I didn't want to just give up my 10K either. And so even though I wasn't feeling up to it, I still went ahead and tried to paddle 10K 2 weeks ago just to get it done with and just to say I did it, because I don't like just giving up on goals either. And so I went out and paddled 10K on that day. And yeah, from the very get-go, I just wasn't feeling it. I just saw mentally I wasn't there. Just wasn't feeling up to the challenge that day. Just a lot of things going in my life, feeling physically out of whack with the new job schedule. And at the end of that 10K trial, I ended up paddling, I think it was just under 1 hour and 8 minutes. So like 4 minutes slower than when I paddled it a few months ago. And as I said, there's a lot of factors into that. But for me on that day, it was hard. Just feeling defeated, just feeling like I just couldn't hold things together, feeling like I couldn't work towards my goals I had set for myself. Challenges with trying to adjust the culture here and getting some new work lined out to provide for my family here in Washington State. And just feeling things were just out of control. And that's hard to go through. And I'm not sure if you guys maybe have ever been through something like that in your life, where things are just kind of felt out of control. But that's kind of where I was in my life a few weeks ago, and just processing all of that. And for me, I am a believer. I do believe in the Bible, and I believe in God. And he's a huge part of my life. And it was in that season too, a few weeks ago, where I just had to kind of really lean into my faith in God and say, man, Lord, I need you right now. I need you to kind of give me guidance in this season of my life. Give me peace knowing that you're still in control of the situation, and remind me just how much I do still have to be grateful for in this season of life. And that has really helped me these past few weeks kind of get my mental state, I guess, out of the pits or out of the bottom, and just kind of working back up again. Is just trusting the Lord, trusting his plans for my future, and trusting that there's still good things to come for this new season of life of living here in Washington State. And so I just kind of want to share this video with you guys to kind of give you guys an update just on all that stuff that's been happening in my life and the goals I had set. Another major goal I had for this year, as many of you know, was I was planning to go to Sarasota, Florida in November to compete at the World Championships there for ICF and paddleboarding. But unfortunately, with just the season of life I'm in right now, and still trying to get some quality income coming, providing for my family, it's just not going to happen this year, unfortunately. And that was a bummer as well, because I was super stoked to go for that event, just to meet more of you guys and just have a fun time with other friends, just paddling on the water and just having, just enjoying the sport that we all love doing together. And not being able to do that is devastating in a lot of ways, but at the same time too, I'm trying to remind myself that my life isn't defined by paddleboarding. As much as I enjoy doing it, it's not defined by that. It's not who I am. Like, I am not just a paddleboarder. Like, for me, I'm defined by my love in Christ. And so for me to think about that and remind myself that He's the one who shapes my life, and He's the one who loves me, and that's all that matters. It reminds me that, yeah, things are still okay, and that God's got in control, and that He's still with me during the season of life. And so all this say is, right now I'm going to go into a season of just kind of pausing for content creation. I don't know how much time I'm going to take off from this platform to kind of get things just kind of figured out in my life, and as well as just taking a mental break from all the stuff going on with content creation and paddling, and just having a season of rest and just time to be with my family, and then come back to this in a good state of mind, refreshed again, ready to go for some more content creation, because I do have some more ideas of what I want to do with you guys or share with you guys for these videos, as well as just training stuff. And so I'm definitely excited about that, but I want to give myself time to think more through it and come back in a better state of mind. So I hope that you guys understand that. I hope you guys are willing to kind of bear with me during the season of my life of going through all this stuff. And yeah, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate that you guys have been on this journey with me. I appreciate that you guys have supported me through these videos. And I really appreciate too, the guys, for those of you who have written me comments, just sharing how much these videos have impacted your paddleboarding journeys. Like, that means a lot, and I really appreciate that, because that's why I do that. I do it for you guys. I do these videos to help you guys in your journey. And so seeing those comments and seeing that you guys are learning, improving, or learning new skills, like, that's awesome, and I'm super stoked about that. So continue on that, keep pushing forward in your lives as well. If you're going through a hard season, just remember that you can make it through and keep pushing through on this season, and there's still good things ahead of you. And last but not least, before I do close off this video, if you guys haven't noticed, I got some new merch in here, which I'm super stoked about. So I have these hats right here for the Learn Paddle Repeat brand. On the front, we have the logo, and then on the side, we have my last name, Huff, right here. So these hats are really cool because they're water resistant, so they're great for training. They're pretty lightweight as well. And yeah, so a great training hat, a great day, or a great hat to use for your paddleboarding days on the water. As well as you've seen probably my social media, I also have race jerseys available for both men and women, and those are high quality jerseys also. So these jerseys are designed with a 4-way stretch. They're super lightweight, and they're also sun protective. So a great thing to use to put on your body to when you go for paddling sessions in the water, especially during those hot summer days. And even though it is the end of summertime for many of you guys around the world, I encourage you guys, if you are interested in supporting me or getting on one or representing the Learn Paddle Repeat brand, to go check out the website, get one of these ordered, and I'll get sent out to you guys so you're ready to go for next summer season. That's it for today's video though, guys. If you've made it all the way to the end, I appreciate you guys. I'll catch you guys in the next video.